Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Never gonna lose, never gonna win. Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Hello, hello, hello. I cannot believe how lucky I am to have so many amazing friends. So, Amanda, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, no, awesome. Absolutely awesome. So, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This show, look, for those people who are watching, hello, Pavel, look at that. First off the blocks. Good afternoon, Pavel. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, this time yesterday, I didn't have a guest for today. I've got some lovely friends and you've helped me out. So thank you very much for coming along, Amanda.
No worries. I love it. Let's just talk.
Yeah, all right. Let's carry on. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about today?
Let's talk about brand. Let's talk about personal branding, if that works for those who are listening and if it will provide some value to the audience. That's something that I'm very focused on this year. So it's very current. And it's something I've done a lot with my accountants and bookkeepers. So yeah. Let's talk about personal branding.
No, do you know, that is absolutely superb because I'm doing some personal branding work for a couple of blokes. They've hired me to do this, and it's not like, oh, what do I know about personal branding? Hang on a minute, I know loads about personal branding. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So yeah, these guys have got faith in me. So I'm going to be building a personal branding thing. I don't know much about what it's going to be just yet.
Yeah,
but that's the next logical step from what I'm doing on LinkedIn, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And personal brand sits behind all marketing. Like there's 3 brands. You've got a personal brand, a product brand, and you've got your business brand. So business brand would be, what is your company? What's the brand behind your company? Product brand is, what is it that you're selling? What's the brand behind what you sell? And then personal brand. And personal brand is absolutely essential because if people don't like you, they ain't going to buy from you. It's as simple as that. So you've got to get people to like you and trust you.
Yeah, absolutely. We are singing from the same hymn sheet today.
There we go, dude.
So just in case, Amanda, and I know you've been on my show before, but just in case someone is watching or listening and they don't know who Amanda C. Watts is, spill the beans.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my name is Amanda C. Watts, and the C is there for personal branding. So let's talk about that in a moment, Ashley, because people always say to me, why do you have the C? And I'll talk about that in a moment. And I specialize in helping accountants and fractional CFOs create a business advisory offering, or if you have a business advisory offering, scale it. And my key thing is adding 500K of advisory revenue, but delivery being only 10 hours a week. And that I am doing that with my clients at the moment. And if anyone is interested in adding 500K of advisory in less than 10 hours a week, then come to me and I can help you with it.
That's brilliant. We need that help because I think with AI and all the software products, the tax returns and the accounts are getting commoditized. And completely. So we need to add more value. So absolutely superb. So personal branding then. What is it?
Well, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So I had a really lovely thing, actually. I was posting on LinkedIn the other day and one of the guys says, oh, I know you as the advisory girl. And I was like, boom, done it. That's it. That is the epitome of what a good brand is. So what is it that you stand for? And having a clear understanding of what you stand for then enables you to do great marketing, which then enables people to understand what you stand for. And then they start talking about you and referring you and coming to you and wanting to work with you. So your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And the best way to find out what people say about you when you're not in the room is to ask them. And if they can't say anything, then you're not creating a personal brand. They probably will create something, but it might not be right. So you've got to get your personal brand top notch, spot on.
Yeah, and people buy from people who they know, like, and trust, don't they? We've got a few people that we all know, like, and trust here. We've got Aaron. Hi, Aaron, and Merry Christmas to you too. I think you're a little bit late on that one. Hi, Path. Aaron loves a bit of personal branding.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the thing, isn't it? You said business, product, and person. So let's pick the obvious one, which is Apple.
Yep.
So the business is Apple, the
Yep.
product is the iPhone,
Yep.
and the person is Steve Jobs. And
absolutely, you can do it with Virgin too. So you've got Virgin, you've got Virgin Trains, and you've got Richard Branson.
Yeah.
And then you've got me.
Yeah.
And then you've got Amanda C. Watts. You've got Business Advisor Academy, which is the business, and then the product is leveraged. So that's the way it works. And I would say that the easiest thing for me with my personality is personal brand. The most difficult is promoting my product, because I'm a one about bringing value, and I struggle with selling. So I'm not sitting here as a marketing and sales expert going, hey, I know everything. I struggle with selling and saying buy my stuff. And the business brand tends to be very much about like a logo and how your business is perceived. And that's about customer service behind the scenes, as well as what your colors are and your image online. But yeah, the personal brand is actually the easiest to move the needle the fastest as well. So yeah, they're the three brands. They're very good.
Okay, so accountants and bookkeepers are watching and listening into this.
Yep.
Most of them are going to be smaller practices, might even be single person businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about the personal brand, isn't it?
They have a huge unfair advantage. It's great. They don't even have to overthink it. They don't have to go, oh my gosh, my brand guidelines have to be adhered to by the 15,000 people that I employ. It's how do I show up today, and how do I show stuff from my heart and my head and what I'm feeling. And you'll see that the accountants and bookkeepers online that have massive success just share themselves. They're the ones. As a byproduct, they get clients, but they show up and share themselves.
Yeah. And who springs to mind when you say that?
Francesca.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say Francesca's surname.
Tricarico.
That's it. Sorry, Francesca. She's so lovely. Yeah, I would say Francesca springs to mind. And then yourself, very much. You're constantly showing up with content, which is great. I'd say you've got a very empowering and uplifting personal brand. I'd say Francesca has a very inspiring personal brand. Now, what's interesting is with you, I would say that your personal brand is energetic and very much about sharing other people and shining the spotlight on other people. And as a byproduct, you get credited with that, and you get credited with knowledge. With Francesca, I align with her on personal training. So I talk quite a lot about brand pillars, and one of her brand pillars would be personal training. So absolutely, she's health and wellness, and she's running a business. So they're her two things. And again, inspirational, uplifting, doesn't really sell a product, but somehow manages to make loads of money using LinkedIn and with a personal brand. It's amazing, isn't it?
It's not rocket science, is it?
Yeah,
okay, so I've just set up my accountancy practice. I've been chatting about it for ages, and this is the year that I'm going to make it my own. I may be all in. I may be doing it as a side hustle. What are the first things I need to be doing for personal brand then, Amanda?
Yeah, first of all, determine your goals. So there is no point in building a personal brand if you don't know what it is that you're building a personal brand for. And I would say that most people build a personal brand either because they want to share some knowledge and expertise out there, and they want to grow an audience, and they want to kind of inspire the world. Yes, that happens, not so much. Most people want to build a personal brand because as a byproduct of that personal brand, you get clients and you get a great reputation and people trust you and they see the value in you. So you've got to determine your goals. What is it that you want your personal brand to do? Probably make you money at the end of the day. But for me, like my personal brand this year is all about value. So I'm just launching my podcast, as we were talking about a moment ago. And the goal for me this year with my personal brand is to give more value than any other marketing and sales expert out there that want to help people deliver advisory. That's it. It's all about value. So personal brand for me this year is I want to be having people say about me that I give loads of free value, and then from that some people will come and buy my stuff. Okay, so first thing is determine goals. when you've got some kind of idea, don't spend too long trying to determine your goals, just like get a quick overview. When you've got some idea, you then have to go, who do you want to show up for? And that's, I think, the biggest thing, uncover your audience. You're clear on your audience. I'm clear on my audience. Most people are like, I can help everyone, which means that your personal brand will be bland. Ugh, horrible. Go from bland to brand, but your personal brand will be bland because you'll be appealing to everybody, which means you'll be appealing to nobody. They would be the two things that I would start with.
Okay, so let's just play with me at the moment. I'm Ashley Leeds, and I'm setting up my accountancy practice. Do I set it up as Ashley Leeds the accountant, or do I come up with a company name?
Oh, well, that comes back to goals. So I would always say to every single accountant, CFO, bookkeeper that is growing an accountancy practice but wants to get better quality clients, to put themselves in the position of understanding that marketing is their responsibility as the practice owner or as a partner. If you're one of three people, it's your responsibility to get clients. So you want two things. You want your business website, but you also want a personal brand website because you are building your personal brand. So I've got amandacwatts.com. I've also got businessadvisoracademy.com. And I also have oomph.global, which is my big company that has the smaller companies underneath it. Okay. I'm not a conglomerate, although I sound like one when I say that. But yeah, so short answer, two websites, one for business, one for personal brand.
Okay. So come up with another name other than Ashley Leeds Accountancy.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Ashley Leeds Accountancy, you might not want to be an accountant forever. And what I'm seeing with loads of my clients is that they come to me as accountants and leave me as business coaches. Actually, they don't leave me, they stay with me, but they become business coaches or mindset coaches or financial coaches. And they tend to leave a lot of accountancy behind, outsource it, or get their team to do it. And all of a sudden, they're not an accountant anymore. They're actually a business advisor. And that's why you need the separate brand, because otherwise you're going to pigeonhole yourself in a box. And if you go up to someone and go, hey, I'm an accountant, they already have decided what your brand stands for. So you need to have something else as well as that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Aaron's a little bit worried. Don't worry, Aaron, I am not going to be an accountant anytime soon. He's put here, why am I scared of Ashley Leeds Accountancy Practice? So we've got some questions coming in here. What are the essential pillars for personal brands and how to project them on LinkedIn? That's from Pavel. Thank you, Pavel. That's a great question.
Yeah, really good question. So essential pillars are the pillars that you deem essential to you. So it's one thing that I do at the beginning of every single year is decide 3 or 4 things I want to get known for. Okay, so at the beginning of last year, beginning of 2023, just to age your podcast, sorry. But at the beginning of 23, what I did was I decided that I wanted to talk about my introvertness because I had a lot to share with that. And one of my brand pillars for last year was about being an introvert. Another brand pillar that I had was about how I'm an advisor, even though I'm not an accountant, I am still a business advisor, and share my business advisory experience because I'm a business advisor. Even as a marketing coach, as a sales coach, all of that, I'm a business advisor. So brand pillars are what do you want to stand for and how do you want to show up in the marketplace and what do you want to be known for? So I'd say another one of my brand pillars would be inspiration. I would use a pillar as inspiration. So my content has to be inspirational. If it's not inspiring people to be better than themselves, then the personal brand pillar is wrong. It's not working. Does that make sense? Hopefully, Pavel, that answers. And my question back to you and those who are listening is what are 3 or 4 things that you want to be known for? And then if you ask people, do they say those pillars back to you? And if they don't, then you're not clear enough on what your brand is.
Perfect. I like that. That's a very good answer. So another question here: to grow any accountancy business, how personal brand helps accountants? Is it more stronger than marketing efforts?
It is your marketing. It's the backbone to your marketing. What we're doing right now is marketing. So I'm talking about me and branding, which is also in your mind path going, Amanda is a branding expert, personal brand expert. So I am creating through this marketing using my personal brand, because we're video and my personality is coming across. I am creating a marketing piece. So personal brand is marketing. It's the essence of very good marketing, actually. Personal brand and content marketing combine beautifully. Beautifully. So personal brand helps accountants because you all, if you're talking about traditional compliance accounting, you all do the same thing. What differentiates you? The person running the practice and how the practice is run, and the values inside of you, and the values inside of your team, and the values for your business. And the only way that you can get those values across is to show up as a personal brand and share them. If you outsource your marketing, people can't build a relationship with you. And something, I came into the accounting world back in 2016, the first thing that I said to accountants when I started teaching marketing was relationships first, sales second. Always relationships first, sales second. You can't build a relationship if you don't know the person that you're talking to and you don't know what they stand for.
Which is where the brand comes in. And then, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the question, Path. And Ben's got a question here. I'm just taking on my first employee. What resources can I share with them to build their own personal brand? Ben, that is brilliant. So many businesses want all of the staff to just put the corporate rubbish out. And so, Ben, if you're already thinking of building up your new employees' personal brand, that is awesome. So come on, what's the answer then?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and it fills my heart with so much joy. It's so lovely. Okay, so the answer is, first of all, your employee does have to stick to some rules, and the rules have to be in alignment with what your practice stands for. So Ben, you have to be clear. What are the values, the mission, and the vision of your practice? When you're clear on that, you then sit with your employees and you say, these are our values, our mission, and our vision. And this is how we show up online as a business. However, you can weave in your personality. So I would sit with them and ask them what 3 or 4 pillars they feel like they want to talk about, and you might give them 2 of those pillars, because one of them might be about business growth, or one of them might be talking about your clients or who is an ideal client. But another pillar could be that if they're really into, let's say, hiking, I don't know where that came from, I hate hiking personally, but if they're into hiking, they can weave in their journeys of going for walks and taking pictures and sharing their thoughts and their creativity as they are hiking. So then what they do is they build their personal brand around the fact that they're massive, avid hikers. Another thing could be that they're really into personal development. And if they're into personal development, then you're onto an absolute winner, because if they share the books that they're reading, if they share their thoughts around personal development, that's going to get interest from their audience, but also position them as very good advisors to your clients, because they're getting better and better every single day. So get clear on what your team members want to show up as, and if they don't know how they want to show up, ask them about their hobbies and their interests and what gets them excited. And then another thing that I would do is give them time to build a personal brand, because all too often I see accountants and bookkeepers come to me and they're like, we're so busy, we don't have time to do marketing. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't give your team time. Give them an hour every single day to write an update, to take some pictures, encourage them to take pictures whilst they're out and about, to be able to put up online. Just give them some support. And it all starts with you. It doesn't start with them. Hope that was useful.
No, absolutely superb. I've been working with it was a company that I was chatting to, so a firm of solicitors. And he said to me, he said, oh, we want to do this, this, and this. And we're struggling to get team members. And I said, well, LinkedIn will really help you with that, because if you start showing all the stuff that's going on, people are they are going to want to come and work with you. Do you know Rachel Harris?
Yes, I do.
She's got 120 people want to go and work with her, because she's got this form on her Instagram or wherever, or Linktree or whatever, however she's done it. And basically, if you're interested in working with Rachel, you fill out this form, and then it's only a Google form. It goes into a Google sheet, and then she's not got this spreadsheet with 120 people on it.
Amazing.
But I said to this guy, I said, look, you know, we do this and they do that. Da, 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 da. And he turned around and said, right, I need to go and speak to the partners about this. Went to speak to the partners, and the partners turned around and said, no, we can't have people doing that.
Yeah.
Because if we start putting them on LinkedIn, they're all gonna see that there's better jobs, and they're all gonna leave. Okay.
Well,
Oh my goodness!
like,
you want to leave that job, matey?
Yeah, that sounds like there's an internal problem. And I would say that I've just recorded a podcast, not published yet, but my podcast is launching in a couple of weeks. Might even be Monday, but don't want to commit to it. But on my podcast, one of the things I was talking about was content marketing. And content marketing is about leading with value. And a lot of accountants and bookkeepers are scared to give away too much. But what I would say is that there's three kinds of buyers. Okay. And I'll relate this back to your story in a second, but there's three kinds of buyers. There's the tire kickers, the ones who will never, ever pay you for your free stuff. They'll just consume your free stuff. There's people watching today just consuming your stuff. Actually, they're never going to buy from you at all, but that's okay. That's not who you're creating this for. Then there's two other kinds of buyers. You've got the ones who think that they can do it on their own, but very quickly go, hey, do you know what? It'd be easier. I can save time and money if I pay someone, and I'm not quite getting it. So these people will take a little bit longer to buy from you, but they will consume more of your stuff, and then they'll come to you because they trust you. And then the third kind of content consumer is someone who goes, okay, I've read 3 of Ashley's blogs, I've watched 4 of his videos, I need his help, and they know immediately, and they're just going to pay you whatever it is. And what I would say is the accountants and bookkeepers who go, I can't show up and give value because someone's just going to take from me and never pay me. They're living in a mindset of lack. And when you live in that mindset of lack, you're not making an impact on the world. You're literally keeping all of your eggs in one basket. But the problem is those eggs will eventually crack, grow, and leave. And you will then be left with nothing because you're not nurturing and building and growing new eggs. And I would say very much that if you live in that lack mentality, then your team are going to leave you anyway, because your vibrations will come out to them and they'll be like, I've got to leave this place that doesn't understand how this new world works. And the new world is all about give, over value, and the right clients will reach out to work with you. And actually, here's another thing. You're scared about your team members sharing online, but if they're sharing online and showing what a great place it is to work, you're going to attract even better team members. Just like, a mindset.
Just like Rachel. Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, right, and I talk about this in my training for my LinkedIn, is when you want to know something. So, all right, so I teach people how to do stuff on LinkedIn. If you Google, all right, how to do something on LinkedIn, there'll be loads of videos, loads of blogs and stuff like that. And it's the same for accounting. It's the same for bookkeeping. It's the same for absolutely anything, you know? And so why don't you be that person? Because what happens is they'll Google it and your name will come up.
Exactly. And you know, the only thing that differentiates people now, because there is so much information out there in the world, like there's nothing new. Sorry, there is nothing new that you can come up with. What you can do is you can do something in a new way and make it your own, but there is nothing new. So if there's nothing new, what differentiates you from Bob? What differentiates you from somebody else that does exactly the same thing as you? The only thing that differentiates is your personal brand. What differentiates Ashley and me? Our personal brands. Okay. I help people with LinkedIn, not quite in the same way. It's a part of a bigger picture. But if someone's going to come to someone for marketing, what differentiates Ashley and myself? It's our personal brands. It's what we stand for. It's what we talk about. It's how we show up. Okay. I love your energy. People love my energy. I also have people that go, oh my God, Amanda, you're too much. Like, don't talk to me anymore.
Yeah, but he's married to you. There's nothing he can do about it.
I know, there's nothing he can do. That's why he shipped me off into an office and he just stays at home on his own. It's like, Amanda, you're too much out. But I get that. But you know what? I'm an introvert. So my energy by the end of the day is gone. And what energizes me is giving. And if I don't give, I feel really low. So I think that some people will say, oh, I can't build a personal brand, I'm an introvert. I can't do it. All these extroverted people doing TikToks and all that kind of thing. Do you know what? The most successful clients I have are actually introverts, because they push themselves out of the comfort zone, and magic happens when they're out of their comfort zone. I reckon that Rachel's an introvert. I don't reckon she's an extrovert at all. From Accountant She, that we, not Rachel. Yeah, Rachel.
Yeah, just Rachel. No, totally agree. She didn't have a big wedding because of that. She did a post over Christmas. She had a big party or something, and and her post after that was saying that, oh my goodness, I wish I'd have done this sooner. So yeah, you're quite right. Yeah, spot on.
Absolutely.
Spot on.
But she can still show up and do content, and the same as me, because you come from a place of giving. If you want to serve more people and make an impact, you need a personal brand.
Yeah, absolutely. So Aaron's got a good point. Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, he said it works a dream for him. Google QuickBooks.
Absolutely.
And that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. And although Aaron and I have never spoken, I know Aaron. He doesn't know I know Aaron. I'm sitting here quietly watching Aaron. Maybe he knows me. I don't know. I don't know if he's ever come across me before, but I certainly know him, and I know him as the QuickBooks guy. Yeah. So he has a personal brand, and I have a real trouble with names, and I would always refer to someone as the QuickBooks guy rather than remember Aaron's name. But as soon as I saw the QuickBooks guy, I was like, oh, I know Aaron. All right.
That is absolutely personal branding nailed.
Yeah, totally.
So and I know Aaron, so he's probably doing that, and he's probably punching the air right now.
Or we don't know. We've never spoken, but I know him. I got you.
So maybe he should come. Maybe he should come on in the back door and come and say hello.
Yeah.
So personal branding. All right. You talked about your C in your name.
Yeah.
All right. And you also talked about your podcast. So there's two questions here. So explain why the C, because I know the story, but not everybody does. But then also, do I have to have a podcast for my personal brand? Does that help?
Okay. All right. Let's go first with the C. So I got married to Matthew, the guy who doesn't want me in the same house as him and has moved me to the office. And I got married to Matthew, and his surname is Watts, which is my surname now. I took on his surname. But when we were getting married, I Googled Amanda Watts because I knew how important a personal brand was. And two people came up. One was a serial killer in Australia. Oh my gosh. And the second one was a lady called Amanda Watts, who was selling tickets to get into heaven, golden tickets to get into heaven, and had been arrested in America. So I'm like, if someone Googles me, I do not want to be known as either of these people. But if I have the C, Amanda C. Watts, I take over the first 20 pages of Google. That's it. It's as simple as that. And I've trained people. Now, I'm a bit of a diva, because if you don't put the C in my name, I'm Amanda C. Watts, because I've had to train the profession to understand that I'm Amanda C. Watts. But people always intro me as Amanda C. Watts because it is my personal brand. For that reason, I had to overcome the Google algorithm. So yes, there you go with that one. Does that answer your question, Ashley?
No, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I've never seen you as a serial killer anyway, so that wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, absolutely. Right then. So this podcast thing. Tell us all about the podcast, but then tell us why we should be having a podcast as a personal brand, or do we not need a podcast? Okay,
really great question. So lots of people come to me and say, Amanda, you make content marketing look really easy. And I go, yeah. Do you know what? Because I close my eyes and jump. So when I show up on video, I often haven't mapped anything out. I might have 3 bullet points I want to talk around, and I talk at you, and I come from a place of heart and love and wanting to help. Same with my articles, everything. I just go for it. I'm launching a podcast, and I've recorded 4 episodes of it, and they're getting edited at the moment, and I'll be adding to those over the coming days. But this podcast should have been launched 6 years ago. And I have been saying to my team every quarter, this quarter we're doing the podcast, and something's got in the way. And it's been me that's got in the way, and it's been fear that's got in the way, because I wanted my podcast to be awesome and the best thing out there. And it's very easy, I say very easy, to close your eyes and record a video and never look at it again. okay? Because videos go down in the timeline. But when you record a podcast, it feels a little more professional. It feels a little more kind of, and this is my view, right? It feels a little more like it has to be good. Otherwise, people don't want to listen to you waffle. Like I'm waffling a little bit right now because people can see me at the same time. They're like, I'll wait for it to get to the point because they're buying into my face as well as what I'm saying. With a podcast, you're in someone's ears. And if it's waffle and crap, pardon my French, they're going to switch off and they're not going to come back. You got a short amount of time. So I've overthought it. Should have done it six years ago. Now I've committed. What I'm doing is being very deliberate with what I'm talking about in the podcast. So should you do a podcast to build a personal brand, if you are 100% clear on what you stand for, I would say it's probably the best tool out there for building a personal brand. If you're really clever, if one is really clever, you record a video, then you take the podcast from the audio, you transcribe it and turn it into an article and you send it as a newsletter. So it kind of starts with video and podcast, and then you can have everything. That's a really clever way of doing it. But we all have our Achilles heel, and podcast has been mine. And I've been wanting to do it every single day for 6 years. And it's been an open loop, and it's really driven me completely nuts. And now I'm just bloody doing it. But
congratulations. Congratulations, because we have talked about this, haven't we, and about your fear, because to me podcasting's easier than video because you can do this.
Yeah, but who wants to listen to my screechy voice all the time on headphones? Like, it's one of those things, it's stories that we tell ourselves, isn't it? It's, for some it might be easier. For me, it's been the hardest part of my personal brand journey.
Wow.
And it even now talking about it, I got like the sweaty palms.
Serious?
It's just like, yeah, I feel like with video, especially because I go live and I don't pre-record it, I feel like it doesn't matter what I say because it can go. But in a podcast, it does matter because my podcast habits is if I find a podcast I like, I then go back to number one and I work my way through someone's podcast all the way through. So if someone stumbles across my podcast, they're then going to go and spend 20 hours with me. Oh my gosh, it's got to be good to get someone to consume 20 hours of your content.
But it doesn't have to be good because someone will listen to it.
Yes, someone will listen to it. And as long as you come from a place of giving and love and value, and it's not a pitch fest, then absolutely it will help someone at some point. But for me, I find I have told myself this story that it is the most difficult part of building a personal brand. And I've wanted to do it for years, like proper. 2016, I wanted to launch a podcast. What are we on now? 2024.
Yeah.
Way too many years I've wasted.
So this will be a podcast because we're recording it live on LinkedIn. So every Wednesday at 12:30, I do this.
Yes.
But it becomes a podcast on a Friday. So someone will listen to this in the future.
I've got no problem with people interviewing me, but me talking at someone for 20 minutes, poor people. Like, I feel sorry for them, right? Like even with my training in my programs, I try and keep it short. Because I think it must be so excruciating listening to the sound of my voice. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's just stories we tell each other.
So what's the podcast going to be called?
Business Advisor Podcast. And it's specifically for those who want to go from accountancy technician to business advisor, and is there to help you add 500K in advisory over the next 1 to 3 years.
Fantastic. And it launches next week.
I hope. If the husband is going to help me over the weekend. I've done my bit.
Do it the week after and build up the excitement.
No, I can't. I've just got to pull off that Band-Aid and just do it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's 15 minutes for accountants and bookkeepers, and we always keep it to 30 minutes, and we've already gone over. I could chat to you forever.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's really not a problem. It's lovely to have you here. We've covered some great ground today. So yeah, this is going to be a podcast, and we can use it for other things as well. So thank you very much for joining me today. I just want to quickly say who's coming on next week. I have got Elaine Godley's coming on, talking about health and well-being for accountants and bookkeepers. So that's going to be a little bit different. So I'm looking forward to having a chat with her. One piece of advice to leave everybody with before we disappear then, Amanda.
Yeah. Get out of your own way. Best time to start building a personal brand was 20 years ago. Second best time is today.
Boom. What a great way to end the show. Amanda, thank you very much indeed. Thank you to all the lovely comments and questions from everybody as well. And I will be back next week. Cheerio.
Ciao.
You get out what you put